This is lesson 44 for course 1, simplifying decimal numbers and comparing decimal numbers. Now I haven't broken this into two groups because I think both of these will go pretty quickly. Simplifying decimal numbers is this. So let's say I have this number here. Okay, now you might say this 300ths, but you can also say it 3/10. Now this number is the exact same as this number. The difference being is that we've taken out these two zeros. Now these two zeros, remember, are just placeholders. They don't actually have anything there. That's why they're there, is they're holding a place. So if we take them out, we get 3/10, and these numbers are the same. This is simplifying a decimal number. Okay, you take out the unwanted zeros to the right of the number. Okay, let's do another one. We have the same thing if we had this number. Okay, we don't need these two zeros. If we're simplifying it, we are turning it into a form without the excess zeros that we don't need. Okay, so these two numbers are the same. They are equivalent. The only difference is that we've taken out these two zeros. Any zeros to the right of the number can be taken out as long as there's not a different numeral over there. So again, simplifying, you're just turning this into this. You just take out the unneeded zeros. Now, for comparing decimal numbers, one of the things you need to think of, you need to think of what column everything is in. So remember, when you have a decimal, these are ones, these are tenths, okay? The farther left you get, the bigger the number, okay? That's the same for when you're working in normal whole numbers. Is the farther left you get, the bigger the number, okay? So in this case, the farther right you get, the smaller the number. Left is bigger, right is smaller. So if I have these numbers here, I have 3/10 and I'm comparing it to 303/100. Okay, now if I was just comparing the tenths column, so remember, same thing as in your normal, you look at decimals, tenths. Okay, this has a 3, this has a 3. So I need to keep going. 0, well, that doesn't help me. 3. Okay, this is 300ths more than this one. Okay, so this one would be bigger because it is 300ths more than this one. Okay, if I have these numbers here and you are asked to put them in order from least to greatest, okay, we have 3/10, 42/100, 3/10, 42,000ths, 2400ths, and 235,000ths. We need to put these from least to greatest. One way to do this, if you have a little problem sometimes remembering that the farther this way you go, the bigger you are, is you can make them all have the exact same amount of places. So these two have three decimal places. These two have 2. We want to change these to have 3 decimal places. So this one would change to, okay, just like we took zeros away before, we can add them in this time. And this one would change to that. Okay, so they all now have 3 decimal places, which makes comparing a little bit simpler because you can look at it and pretend the decimal's not there, and you can say, okay, I'm now comparing 300, 42, 240, and 235. Well, if I'm going from smallest to biggest, least to greatest, I'm going to go 42 or 42 thousandths. Then let's see, 235. So the 235 thousandths. Then we're going to be doing 24. We had 24 hundredths, but for our purposes, we can do this for the moment. And then last one, 3/10 or 3 thousandths. Now at this point, you can go in and you can take away your zeros again to simplify them. and you have from least to greatest. Okay, by adding in those two decimal places to make sure everything is has the same amount of decimal places, it visually makes it a little bit easier to see which ones are bigger and which ones are smaller. Okay, that is lesson 44 for course 1, simplifying decimals and numbers and comparing decimal numbers.